Well, do we have a topic? Well, I've got a little bit of like something happening. What about
Mm-hmm.
you?
I don't have anything specific,
I
but I'm reading a book called Shame.
okay.
So I thought that could always be a juicy one if you didn't have anything. But they can do that anytime.
Um, okay. Well, hey, I wanted to just start by because I've just made this big Facebook post. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the little video I did? Probably.
No, I'll have to I don't have it on my phone often, but I'll download
Okay.
it.
Oh no. Okay. Well, it was just like letting everyone know that I'm starting this live streaming. Um, so yeah, there might actually be some people watching here. So I kind of wanted to go with the thought of that maybe there is some people watching. Oh, but there's not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. I just thought to get into the sort of the rhythm of the streaming, um, and part of that would be just to introduce you. Hi, this is my friend Alison,
Mm-hmm.
and to let everyone know that we've been, yeah, to let everyone know that we've been doing this for some time now, um, and it's been quite good for me. So I wanted to say thanks for that.
Same. Likewise. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's probably going on like
yeah. How long's
15
it
months
been?
or more, I think.
15 months. Wow, wow.
At
Okay, well,
least August.
wow. Oh, how do you remember it? Yeah, I
Well, I
don't.
was thinking,
I'm
I think
sure
it
I
was
could go
about
back and
March
find
when
out
I
when it
signed up with
started.
KI, and then yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm sure I could go back and find it. Find how it came about and trace it back that way. But time goes so quick. Hey,
yeah,
goes so quick. Um,
it does.
okay. Well, I mean, the only thing really I've got. I mean, I've got a little bit actually. I've got a few different little things that are going on at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit centered around this, like just starting with the streaming at the moment, and then a little bit centered around this Jesus video I did, and
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, yeah, shame is always a good one, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been interesting reading this book and realizing how powerful it is and how much of it I have and how much I use it in my parenting
Oh,
without
you
even realizing.
use it. What do you mean by you use it?
As a tool to, yeah, like just for example, my eldest daughter, just something small, she has trouble drinking water. She has trouble knowing when she needs to drink water, and then she doesn't like the sensation of water in her belly, but it causes trouble for her.
Mm.
So I will offer her water like quite regularly. Here, have a drink. Or here, I've iced up some water for you. And it shames her. She feels ashamed that she can't drink enough water to be able to have her tummy work properly and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, it's prolific.
Mm. Okay, I can like relate that to something that I'm feeling a little bit too. So, okay, but you were saying that in terms of your daughter, that she feels shame. Where's your shame in that?
Mm. I think my shame is the sense of responsibility. It's like this certain sense of responsibility that I created this life, and she suffers.
Mm.
I feel shame when she suffers.
Like you feel like you're to blame for her suffering.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can relate a little bit to that as well. This Jesus sort of post that I made, I made it for this Christian friend. I made it for one Christian friend because, again, we were having this conflict. We've talked about this before, and I shared it with another Christian friend, and he's quite open. He's open to explore things a little bit, and then I shared it on this Facebook page, and I tagged some of my relatives, my Christian relatives, in it. And the hope was just that I sent this little message saying, that maybe I haven't always felt like I haven't always been respectful of your beliefs, and there's some things about Christianity that just like, they're so like blatantly nonsensical, and that I just can't get on board of it, and maybe that's shown at some points, but I sort of, I feel like I offered them this olive branch to just say, hey, I take what you feel seriously, and I respect that, and I would hope that we can have this kind of communication where we're open, and I mean, I know that because of the inquiry that we do. I know that you already know that that conversation can be, can deepen us, but for some reason there's this big block there, and there's no response. I mean, there was a response that was quite sort of negative too, and then I felt this sense of shame, like, oh, am I trying to make them feel something again? Am I trying to point out the ridiculousness of some of their ideas? And I didn't feel that at the time, but afterwards, from the repercussions of it, I had this thought that, oh, maybe that's something here, and it made me feel some sense of shame, and it made me take the video away, and then kind of justify it by saying that, oh, if I that there doesn't need to be any push or anything about it. So so maybe we can start with that.
So you
and
did take it down?
see where this goes. Yeah, I mean, I took it off the Facebook. I didn't take it from the YouTube, because I don't really see it as being a negative thing. I don't see it as being a negative thing, but from my perspective, that's how it is. But definitely, there's a sense of shame around that. So I'm happy to have a little look at that.
Yeah, wanting to hide it. Yeah. Yeah, how can I link in with that? I can link in with that because although it has changed a little recently, I've hidden the fact that I do inquiry, and that I love it, and that I make time for it. I've hidden that from my family.
Yeah, okay. Do you feel shame about that? Is that the reason to hide it?
I did. Yeah, I felt like, especially my mum, because I felt like she would feel guilt or something, and I didn't want her to feel bad. So yeah, I hid it from her for a long time, and then I found out that she had known for like 9 months or more. She had known because my kids had told her.
Okay.
She'd never said anything to me, and she was very supportive, and she thought it was amazing. So yeah, but I can still tap into that idea of wanting to hide things, and that shame.
It's interesting too, like just before we start, it's interesting too that it's sort of the inverse idea of what's happening with your daughter, in that you like you you don't want your mum to feel what you're feeling with her, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
I wonder
the
how that will come
shame
up.
for me is around acknowledging hurt. Being hurt causes me shame, and acknowledging that I've hurt others causes me shame. It brings up the shame.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's start there then, shall we? Again, I'm just going to like a little bit talk about what we're doing to anyone that might be watching. So just excuse this, Alison, and hey, throw in anything if you think I've missed something. So for anyone that's watching, first we sort of start out with this story of what's happening for us. So we're both like recognizing that we're feeling some form of shame, and we talk about it a little bit just to get the feeling of it going into the body and bring it into this sort of moment. And then from there, like, we're not trying to intellectually understand it. We're not having a conversation to try and work out what's happening for each other. What we'll do now is just go into self-inquiry. And for me, in this moment, that looks like I just turn towards myself. I turn towards what's happening in my body at the moment and the thoughts that are happening in my mind. And for me, this sense of shame that's here when I think about this video and hurting my family in some ways, it's here in my body, and it feels like a I don't know, like a cloying sort of feeling. This sort of pressure that's coming up and it's hitting the back of my throat and it's stopping me from talking. And so I'm sort of identifying what's happening, what the feeling of shame is for me in this moment in the body. And then I'm looking up to see what's happening in my mind, like how I'm giving meaning to this feeling. And I just see this, like, there's predominantly a woman. It's predominantly one of my aunties that seems to have the most problem with all of this. And as I see the image of it in my mind, I just feel this sort of wealth of different emotions towards her. And the shame's still there, but then there's this feeling of like fear and a feeling of hurt, that I've been hurt by her. What about you, Alison?
So where my sort of thoughts have gone on this one is not so much in relation to my mum and what I've hidden from her. It's this, I'm more pulled, it's stronger when I think of my daughter. And I think of the shame that I feel in the ways that I've hurt her. And I can relate to that clawing feeling. That's how I would describe it too, like something's trying to come up and pull my heart down or something. And it comes with a sense of fear, but I'd call it like a panic, like a urgency that I have to fix this, verse this. And the identity, I can feel this pull to this identity, which I know is, I'm sorry, like, I'm so bad, I'm so wrong, forgive me. And it's quite a distressed state. And I can go there quite easily. It's more up in the higher chest area. And I can also sense the willingness to abandon myself completely in order to achieve forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
So,
It's important for me to
quite
hear.
a lot going on for me that I can see if you'd like to go.
I'm interested still in what you're saying. I thought it was interesting that you brought yourself into that sort of mix, and that made me turn towards the image of me in my mind, and what the response is with the auntie, with the person that I'm having this feeling towards. And I don't feel like placating in any way. I just feel this sense of fear. And I see the image of me trying to hide and then it alternates a bit between the sense of shame as well. So the sense of shame comes in. I see the image of me with my head down, and it's almost like me as a child getting in trouble. Yeah, and then I see this person sort of admonishing me, and that increases the feeling of shame that's here, that's in the body. And it's quite interesting just to sit with that feeling and sit with this image that's going in the mind. And I can see in the past, I see in the image that I'm trying to physically, I'm trying to stop all the sensation by tilting my head over. Like the further down my head gets, the less the energy can come up into my body, which is interesting. I've never noticed that before. So I've got this kind of explosion of feeling of shame that's happening, and then this meaning or this image of being told off by someone and just trying to put the head down just to shut it all off, and that actually that recognition, it's so lovely actually, that recognition of what's actually happening. And it's like I've caught myself in this situation of not wanting to feel and trying to stop this feeling, and that recognition allows the movement, allows the shame to be here and sort of move. And then the image in my mind, it's funny, Alison, in the image in my mind, my head comes up as a child to the authority and the one that's admonishing me, and I can look them straight in the eye, and then this like feeling of anger and rage, and like it's changed from being the shame of me.
I'm actually not hearing your voice.
Oh no. Oh, is that how about that, Alison?
Oh, it was like it was cutting in and out, in and out, in and out. So hopefully the recording picked it up, but I didn't.
Oh, that's a shame. It was a nice experience actually. So what happened was the shame.
Sorry.
The shame was being cut off.
Me.
Well, just quickly, the shame was wanting to come up, the feeling of shame, and then in my mind I could see that my head was trying to cut it off. Like when you feel shame, you put your head down. So that action was trying to cut off the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I not felt that before. And then seeing that mechanism work, it allowed me to put my head up and feel, and then the feeling changed into something else. Damn, it was a pity that you missed that. That was quite insightful, quite instructive too, actually.
Yeah, you did that before. You think that is caused
neither at all.
by the shame rather than a coping strategy for the shame? Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, what about you? I mean, for me, it's like opened everything up. It's opened that idea up completely, and now I can like look in my mind at this person that was admonishing me, and other things are starting to move now. But
Okay.
I'm happy to hear what's happening for you. Do you fall into this role,
Okay.
and then what's that process, or does it? What happens?
Okay. So I'll just go back to it because I was a little bit distracted by worrying about the audio. Okay. So this shame is something I can easily connect to. I seem to go there regularly. I don't express this identity that's so sorry and pitiful. I don't express it directly to her. And I use it as a catalyst to do better. I can feel that urgency, that pushing. You know, I have to get it right to grow. I have to be better.
Mm. What effect does it have? Like, do you see that in your mind? What effect it has on your daughter? Oh, sorry, it's a bit of a lag. After you, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. So looking at her, I can see it does affect her. She becomes a little bit less responsive. She's a little bit less open. And then it comes back to me as I'm noticing the effect. She feels shame because of me, because of the way I'm parenting. It immediately comes back into that frozen I have to be careful, I have to be more. The tenseness that I made too many mistakes to be redeemed. Below is just this love. Like I just love her so much. And that's really nice to feel. Even though I can still feel that I hold myself back, which isn't a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to be careful.
Mm-hmm. What happened to the shame?
In this moment, the shame feels like more of a gatekeeper rather than a oppressive, debilitating feeling. It's there to keep me in check. I have been totally debilitated. In this moment, it's not debilitating. It's helpful.
So can I ask, are you still feeling it as shame in the body? And also, what's happened to that role, the idea of the role of needing to placate and get forgiveness? Does that change in this moment?
Yeah, it's changed. It's changed. I've gone through it to a place of action rather than sitting in it in a place of paralysis, which I have done. I have certainly and been paralyzed. At the moment,
Yeah.
it was kind of acknowledging the shame is there, recognizing that my fear of losing her. And at this moment, I'm in a place of connection with her.
Mm.
And I can just stay here if you'd like to go.
Mm. Okay. So for anyone that's watching at the moment, that maybe it's a little bit in and out. We're talking about shame, and we brought into this kind of inquiry the situations in our lives where we feel shame. In particular, I've been feeling some shame about my relative's response to this video that I made. And I mean, it's interesting just to be with it. It allowed it to open up itself. But if I come back now to like what happens in my mind when there's no shame here, let's say, and so I'm bringing this person back into my mind, the one that I felt shame for and shame about, and what I see in my mind is this setting of like a young child that's I see myself as a young child that's kind of like set in this pose now of sort of like fighting almost, that, hey, maybe it's like boundaries or something in psychology, but hey, you can't make me feel this way by saying the things that you're saying. I don't feel wrong. And I'm experiencing that in my mind and also in my body. I feel like a sense of empowerment, whereas before I felt shame. And it's a bit like I'm saying, hey, you can't make me feel this way. I'm not going to feel this way about what this is, this situation was. And it's interesting. It feels quite nice to feel that empowerment, to feel confident in the thing I've put up. Okay, and just as I sit with that for a little while, this interaction that's happening in my mind calms down a little bit, and the conflict that was there with this person, it turns, and I start to see them. I start to see the reason in my mind that they were being confrontational and trying to make me feel shame and feel guilt. And in this shame, I couldn't have this feeling of compassion. I just had this feeling of fear, And then what arose after that shame was this feeling of anger, of like, how dare you make me feel this way? And then that subsided as well. Going through that, it subsided, and it brought me back to a neutral kind of place where I wasn't moving. I was just still in my mind. And I see in my mind that the person, she's just really afraid. It makes me feel really sad, actually. Yeah, it's interesting. I see that part of the reason I wanted to take the video down was because it's a bit of emotion. I didn't want her to feel fear. I don't want to poke that sense of fear. I know that if she goes into it, she can move through it. She can get understanding from it. But it's always the same. All suffering is this movement away from something that we're afraid of, or that we don't like, or whatever. Yeah, so there's a reluctance. Part of the reason to take the video down was this reluctance to make her feel a particular way. And this recognition too that you need to come to it to yourself. You can move with someone, you can have someone help you if you trust them, but and she's a Christian, so she trusts God, she trusts Jesus. I trust enough in life that I don't need to do anything. I don't need to force her to do anything. I think that's the biggest difference about my stance in Christianity is I don't need for things to happen. I know that we're always in.
Can you tune sadness and share a bit of your sadness?
Yeah, it's like the shame. Am I feeling some shame now about the crying? Yeah, it's a good reminding, Alison.
Looks like you're trying to shake it away.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to do the same thing. I've got my head down to try and stop the energy from moving. I'm afraid it will just destroy me. The feeling of, like, I know that we're okay. I know that we're all okay. Oh, maybe it's your turn to go. Take some attention. Take the attention for a little bit, please.
Okay, right. So yeah, for me, when you were talking about suffering is the movement away from something, I allowed myself to go back to that feeling of shame, which for me basically says, I've made too many mistakes for you to love me. That's basically what my shame says. And then you went on to talk about trust. It's like, shit, that's the next step. I don't trust the people that I love and would forgive endlessly. Able to love me when I make mistakes. I don't allow trust to be a two-way thing. And that kind of shocked me. And when I posed the question to myself, just sort of quickly, can I acknowledge my imperfectness? The answer is no, because the fear of loss is stronger. Yeah. But I want to, and I've got this like coldness inside of me that's sort of saying, you're going to lose everything if you start trusting people to love you if you're imperfect. If I'm imperfect, I'm already imperfect. But if I acknowledge that I'm so imperfect, humanly imperfect, that I will just be cast aside. I have to keep this facade, this delusion that I'm not allowed to make mistakes.
Mm. So you know.
And it's like down my arms, like in my chest. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you know what the like this idea of imperfectness, and then the what's the opposite of that? How does that feel? You know it's coming.
The opposite of imperfectness would be...
Or hey, use those words, those exact words. I can't make a mistake, I think it was.
Yeah, for me, the opposite of imperfectness would be to be unhurtable, I suppose, or unflappable. Actually, what's coming up for me is the opposite of imperfectness is actually not being able to connect. Which doesn't make sense, but it makes perfect sense to me, but just not when I say it out loud.
Yeah. How does it feel in the body?
Oh, huge relief. There's still a hesitancy, there's still a fear that says if you acknowledge and allow yourself to fully connect and fully be seen and imperfect and potentially be hurt and hurt someone, there's still a hesitancy there. But I can see that the whole concept is just bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's not even a day-to-day moment. It's just an idea. A mask. A delusion. So in the body, I can feel there's a tightness in the center of my chest that's still holding on to this idea that I have to be perfect to be loved. But there's like this openness around it that's sort of that's not connection. It's the opposite of connection for me. So if you're ready, I'll just sit with this contraction and you can go.
Oh, it comes into my mind, this idea of connection too, in that I wonder if you can connect to that feeling there, that contraction, what the relationship is there. But I've been really enjoying just coming along with you for that little ride. So I'm coming back to your words about I can't make a mistake. You know, that's the slogan for that identity and you know, for that feeling. I can't make a mistake. Okay, so I just sort of let that sit in my mind, and I'm here with it, and I want to see which way it's going to go. And the way it goes is the repercussions. Okay, what if I make the worst mistake ever, and then what the repercussions of that are? And it's interesting when I bring up this image of this person, this authority that I felt like it was berating me, that was making me feel shame. What comes up is actually, like, I see in that moment that nothing can happen, nothing real can happen. You know, she can sit there in her fear and she can sort of cause herself her own hell. I see the image of her being stuck in her mind, not really being able to get out, and not being able to see anything outside of that. So this idea of not being able to, like, not being able to make a mistake, or making a mistake, it doesn't matter. And I see that the only way that she can actually see what's happening is through this lens of what she's feeling. So it doesn't matter what I say, because she's just going to see it in the way that she sees it. Mm. And then a settling happens with that, where I have this feeling of not needing to move outside of myself. Okay, and then okay, it's interesting. That's coming in as not being able to connect. Then there's a feeling of, I can't connect with her if I can't speak to her.
Is that the purpose behind your video?
That's a great question. Oh man, this is like such an emotional session that we're doing. I had this huge welling of gratitude for you for that question. And there was like a really deep insight that came in really quickly just as you were saying it. And it was that, the thing I'm looking for is a connection with myself, really, with the feelings that are happening within me, and how that actually permeates out into everything. If I can connect and be here with myself, then it's a bit like that's the answer. Whereas if I'm trying to get outside of myself for something, it's like the hamster on a wheel. It can't ever go anywhere.
Yeah.
So is that the reason I made the video? It's such a good question. Okay, so I'm seeing that in the video I connect with myself, even though it's an invitation outside. It's an invitation for me to turn inwards and see what's happening within me. It's not actually a call outside of myself. I'm not looking for something with that call. It's like the call is for itself. I feel like I'm waffling a little bit. Yeah, it's coming that the main part of it was for me to, like, connect with myself, with what's happening within me, with my sensation and my thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another question here too. Then what is the, like, what is the so me posting the video, and tagging some of my relatives, there's something there. There's something of want there. So, okay, so for anyone at home, we've gone around the bush a little bit, but I'm come back to this idea of what is it that I like, what was the reason to do this? And there might be many reasons, but the reason in this moment, I can see that, there's some need happening. There's something here that I'm not, that's upsetting, and there's something that's not satisfying in my experience, seemingly. And it's only in two places, right? There's a thought in the mind that says, I don't have enough, or I need something. In this case, I see myself like trying to reach out to this part of my family, and there being a divide between us, and I'm trying to bridge that divide. And there's a whole big story about that part of the family as well. The different things, and it hasn't been a very traditional idea. The parents got divorced, and there was always these things that were between me and that part of the family. So, that's part of the story as well. But I'm just seeing that as an image in my mind of reaching out and trying to, get something. You know what I'm talking about, Alison. And what comes with that thought in my mind is this feeling of need that's in the belly. And the moment I turn back towards, like the moment I stop separating from something in my experience, which in this case is this feeling, there's a feeling of need and unsatisfaction. The moment I try and get away from that, and try and do something intellectually to fix it, rather than just sit and be with it, the moment I put my attention down into that feeling of need, there's this wailing that comes in my mind, and it's like a sense of grief and loss that comes. And it's not very pleasant, but it's worse to try and get away from it. It's worse to try and get that satisfaction from somewhere outside of this. And I can see that there's some other things there too. There's something in the periphery, but just sitting and being with that makes me feel like that need just falls away, and the sensation doesn't feel like need anymore. And when I bring in the idea of posting this Jesus video, it doesn't come with that sense of need. It doesn't come with the intent of me not having enough, or me needing something in particular. And that kind of, what you were saying before about your franticness and that part taking over, that's not here when I think about it. That was quite a bit, mate. What about you? What's happening for you?
Well, I have been listening along, and I do wonder if you are turning towards your sadness as much as you normally would. But what happened for me when I sat with that contraction, and I was sort of noticing how it had relaxed around it, but this contraction was still there. And just fully connected to it and turned towards it, and it started to not be so tight, and inside it's just this huge sadness at not being seen. And I was like, those expectations on behavior, which I do with my kids and was done to me, creates this real sadness at not being seen. And I had never picked up on that before. And I was able to, it was very strong sadness, and it really pulsed through. And it has brought me a step closer to a relaxation around this idea of I have to be a certain way in my behaviour. And there's just sort of an openness, some space where that all was. And I can't feel it now, but I could feel it after I'd sat with the sadness and felt through that sadness, was this feeling of unknown.
Mm-hmm.
How does it look to allow people to just be themselves? And even more terrifying, how does it look for me to just be myself?
Yeah.
It's just this unknown. But there's this openness for it, whereas before it was like...
So you're saying that you're sitting in this unknown at the moment.
That's sort of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a possibility of behaviour not mattering so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sadness of being seen. I think you're right. When I heard you say that, it made immediate sense to me in, that's the part that I'm trying to connect to. That's the thing I'm missing in that moment.
Yeah.
So I've got the small feeling of just like putting this out to anyone that might be watching, that that there's a way that you can join this without actually, being here and joining it, and that's to really listen to your body, and when like thoughts like that, the sadness of being seen, come in, if there's some response that happens in the body, then there's some belief that's here in relation to that. And I think probably we can all relate to that idea of the sadness of being seen or not being seen. And so you would just feel that, like you would hear those words and feel that in the body. And rather than move away from it, you would just go into that feeling, that sensation. And it unfolds itself to you. If you take some time and some space and sit with something like that, it unfolds itself to you, and you might start seeing memories of not being seen, and other emotions might come. But if you just stay there with it, it will just naturally, would you say, Alison, just naturally like reveals itself and gives you insight and allows it to change and become something else.
Yeah, and I think it's also something that does come with practice, because after a while you start to look forward to it.
Yeah, it's true. The trust comes too, because you've been through it, because the mechanism of suffering is always the same. It's just that there's different levels of feeling about different identities that we have and different feelings that we have. But as you go through one thing and you're like, it wasn't what I thought it was, or it wasn't what I was afraid of. The moment you can start coming towards it and experiencing it, then it can be here, it can do its thing and become something else. And there's freedom, I think, on the other side of it, generally. Freedom and openness and release. Am I talking some shit here now?
No, it's still a little bit, so I'm trying to catch the words.
Okay, so hey, there's maybe about 5 minutes to go, but do you... after you? No, after you. Sorry. I'm listening.
this is going just to how it relates to everyday life. When a feeling comes, I mean, I still do get overwhelmed, but it's a different relationship to when feelings come. You can have a feeling of curiosity, like, oh, okay. And if you can't deal with it in the moment, you think, oh, well, I'll deal with that tonight or on Monday night when we meet. It's it gives you confidence that you're not alone to work through all of your unconscious stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. How kind is life?
Yeah, it just changes the relationship you have with, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was just going to say, we've got this last 5 minutes. Do we want to just do a quick, like, bringing back in where we started? Usually, I think that's a nice way to end off things.
Sure.
I'm happy for you to start.
Okay. So, still fresh with me is this sensation of space and relaxation around on behaviour. And so I'm just going to go back to looking at my daughter. And there's one particular memory that comes up. And there's others, probably daily. But there's a few other memories that come up of times when I've fallen short of my own expectation of the parent I wanted to be when I was before having my children. Okay, so what's happening for me inside my body is I feel like I want to lean forward. I want to lean down to their level. It's a warm feeling. Yeah, so the whole going into the shame and the regret, remorse. It's a feeling of leaning towards them and saying, "Hey, it's okay with all of us."
Sorry, are you saying that to this image of yourself and your daughter and your mum? Are you included? I guess that's the question I'm asking.
Yeah, it's actually it's myself and we're just heinous around mistakes and emotions and behavior that comes from this whatever. Yeah. And that's something I really will to my day. Are you ready? You can go. If it cut out, you.
Yeah, it's gotten a bit crackly, this last bit. Like when I look at this person in my mind, I don't see, like, I still see someone that's agitated in my mind. but I don't feel a sense of, like, I just feel a compassion towards them. It's quite mild. It's quite light. It's just on the surface a little bit towards them. So before I was feeling like quite a lot of shame. When I like bring in this idea of this video, this Jesus video into my mind, it's funny. I feel the same way about it now that I did when I made it. I feel jovial, and it's a really funny picture at the start where the Jesus he's like a handsome Jesus. He's got some muscles and he's on the cross, but he's sort of like looking like this kind of. So I feel good about the video still. Yeah, I just feel a lightness in the body. There's a little bit of a reluctance. Like the thought comes into my mind, if this person called me, that there would be a bit of reluctance to speak to them, but I don't feel the shame about it anymore. And I feel ambivalent about posting it again on Facebook or not posting it. So that's nice. Hopefully you're still here, Alison. You've frozen. Oh. Are you still here? Hello.
Yeah, it's
She's a bit in and out at the end. Oh, that's better.
It says my headset's not working.
Oh,
So
yeah. I've got you. I hear you. I hear you now, and the video's better now too. So, well, thank you. No. Thank you. Do you hear me? Maybe not. Okay. Are you there? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, mate. Okay, mate. Thanks. Thanks for today. I'll message you later.
Yeah, I can hear you all of a sudden.
Oh, you got me. Okay. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say thanks. It was really nice session.
Yes, it was good. Now it's working again.
Yeah, you got me again. I'll send you a message a bit later on. Okay. All right.
I really enjoyed
No.
today.
Yeah. It's okay. Thank you. Bye for now.
Oops, connection lost. Reconnecting.
See ya. See ya. Okay.
Bye.
Well, hey, I'm just going to go and have a quick pee. Yeah, if you have the feeling, if anyone, I don't even know if anyone's here, but if you do have the feeling of joining, then you can see this at the bottom here. There's a link here at the bottom. All you need to do is put that into the, into your web browser and come and join me. Maybe you've got something happening for you, and we can do a little session together. Otherwise, I'll probably just do something for myself if no one wants to join. Also, on the chat here, if you check in the chat, there's the link is just there. You don't actually need to put it in. You can just click on it, and it'll ask you about the camera and the microphone, and you can just put it on. I'm just going a couple of minutes. I'll have a quick pee, and I'll be back. Oh, should I write that maybe? Thank you if anyone is watching. It was a nice session. 2 minutes. Okay, well, I'll still give a little bit more time if anyone wants to come and join me. Maybe you're feeling some sort of suffering in some way today. I'm sure you can bring something up. We all suffer at times. So, again, just click on the chat here. I'm going to put this here. There's the link to come and join. Here we go. Okay, there's some message from someone. Yeah, okay. It's a nice little message from Chris. Stay majestic. Thanks, Chris. Mate, hey, if you're watching, definitely come and jump on. I've been meaning actually to do, I know you've been having a bit of struggles with your life at the moment, let's say, but this is something interesting that can help if you have the feeling. I've been meaning actually in the next week or so to do a little fast myself. I've been recognizing that of an evening that there's a sense of dissatisfaction that I've been feeling with food. And you could call it an addiction for sure. Yeah, you could call it an addiction for sure. And I thought, okay, do a bit of a fast. The main thing I think with self-inquiry and suffering is just moving towards it, moving towards the mechanism of it. Because we run away so quickly, we don't know what the feeling is. Like, we know the feeling, but we're not so connected to the feeling. We're not so connected to the thought. So doing this fast, it will naturally bring on this feeling of need, and I can get a bit closer to it and understand it a little bit better. Yeah, yep. Again, I can do just a session by myself, or someone can come and join. There's no one watching. It does say that there's 2 people, but I don't know if there's just some randoms. But yeah, but come and here we go, Maddie. Maddie's watching me on the telly. Okay, that's nice. Thank you. Feel free to join me, Maddie, if you want. It'd be interesting just to see if this works. There you go, bro. Just like there's like 1 or 2 people that seem to be watching, but maybe one of them's you. So do me a favor and put in that that web address, and let's just help me check that it works. You don't have to stay for long. We don't have to do a session, but that would help a little bit. Yeah. What do you reckon, Matt? Hold on. Can you? Thanks. Hold on. Thanks. Can you try that joining link so we can? Sure, it works. Yeah. Okay, I'll check it. All right, good one. Okay, still, if anyone is there and they want to join me, then put in that joining link. If you check the chat notes, the link is there. It's a great time to join. There's no one watching. It would just be like a private session, private shared session. Okay. There's no authority here. I'll give it a little bit more time and then I'll pack it in. But yeah, Maddie, if you can try that would be great. For those that are here, I mean, it was quite a beautiful session that we did just before. So I think you're quite lucky in being able to see that and experience that. It was really nice, very insightful. Just waiting for you, Maddie. I'm not sure how you're watching it too. That's interesting. Are you watching it on Facebook? Are you watching it on YouTube? Are you watching it on Twitch? Oh, yeah. Okay. No worries, mate. Hey, Chris, if you're still there, dude. Same thing for you. Okay, for me, I can't actually click on it. But hold on. Oh, what do I got there? Matt's watching it on YouTube. Okay, Chris, are you watching this on Facebook? There you go, Matt. I just copied the stream for you. And Chris, though. Chris, I'm going to copy it for you too, bro, just in case you want to come and see. Yeah, Chris, mate. I didn't want to say about about what you're actually going through, even though I don't think anyone's actually watching. But yeah, but I mean, I'd quit smoking this last year, a year ago now, and it wasn't Will that got me through. It was the understanding of what was going on that got me through, and then it stopped it from making sense. It stopped me smoking from making sense, and I still feel this. I still feel like at certain times I want to smoke, but it's not actually the feeling of need of the nicotine. It's the feeling of the act. So maybe in a couple of weeks, like I think this week is quite full already with guests, but maybe in the week after, we can organise a time to do when I'm doing the fast. Maybe we can organise a time to look into the need, see where that goes. I'm still waiting for you, Matt. What's going on, bro? Okay. Okay. Matty, there you go, bro. Okay, good one.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, nice
I
one.
couldn't actually log into my Facebook with the computer because apparently my Facebook account breaks some sort of integrity laws, so I don't have one anymore.
Oh no. Oh, it's okay. This is like it's good to check the link and you're my first guest. You're my first guest outside of my guests. So happy for you.
It's funny. I can hear myself talking on the TV in the next room.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good one. Okay. Well, I don't know if you. Yeah. After you.
It's actually it's maybe about a 10-second delay too, because I'm still talking about the integrity laws on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, no, dude, I'll have to say that was a nice session. I felt like I could relate to a lot of what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. I thought it was a really nice session too.
So there's always that, like you say, there's always that image or that story of how you see yourself and then perception of others and how you think that is and how you think other people see you and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and it's all happening inside.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really easy to see, I think, when we have some problem in the morning and then we still have that problem in the evening. And the thing itself is finished. The thing itself is finished and we're still generating in the mind. And mostly it's because we haven't fully felt it. And also there's this underlying things that happen as well. I like this example of someone cuts you off in the car, right? And you get upset about it, and then the rest of the day you're repeating the story to someone over and over. And on one layer, it seems like it was because someone cut you off that was the problem. But in one level, it's the thought that's going through the mind because the situation has stopped. You're not being cut off. You're just regurgitating in the mind, and then what happens is
Sorry, I just had Jason try and call me.
Is he? Oh, you should get him.
Can you still? I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Hang on.
What about now?
I don't know why I can't hear you.
Oh, that's no good.
Hang on.
Reminds me, baby, of you. There we go. Oh, hey! I just put your chat on. Hold on. Hi.
Sorry, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I turned the TV off because I thought maybe something's happening.
I don't know why that's.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it's just the volume's gone right down for some reason.
Okay. Is it? Did you turn it down on the phone?
No, it wasn't me this time.
Hold on, I'm just gonna put this on.
But yeah, I can still sort of hear you. So if you hang on, I'll put you on the side.
Yeah.
Now that my speaker's a bit. It's not even going to work. But yeah, no, I definitely understand what you're saying. I guess with the whole, and your brain is a problem solver, so your brain connects the dots to things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got the subconscious and the conscious as well, like the things that you're not necessarily picking up on, but your subconscious is picking up on, and it sort of plays behind the scenes to the conscious a little bit, and then you sort of think about it consciously, and you you connect the dots with your subconscious.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at that is that there's this intellectual part that wants to fix things. You're right, but I don't think it's got the full understanding of everything. And
Mm.
and what also happens is that when we have these feelings that we don't like, we like push up into the mind, and that movement of energy, it makes the stories like spin, boom, boom, boom. Suffering is separation. It's always
So does
separation.
the emotion come from the mind or does it come from the body? Because
Well,
even though you feel it in the body,
it's both. Emotion is a sensation in the body with a meaning that comes over in the mind.
mm. And then you go and, oh, I don't like that. And you push
Yeah.
that back down there.
Yeah. Well, it goes both ways, right? There's the
Yeah.
separation
It's,
occurs.
I suppose,
It occurs
duality,
like
isn't it?
this. It's like we don't want the feeling, so we try and escape into the mind. And that's why the story generates. We've got the fantasy stories. We try and clear it up in the mind, but there's a separation happening, so it won't clear up. It's why you can't think yourself out of. Generally, you can't think yourself out of suffering.
And I think as well too with the mind, like I go into my mind. Sometimes I'm very much in the mind a lot, and when I'm thinking, I'm a very visual thinker.
Yeah.
Like so I'll have a very vivid sort of like daydream happening, and I won't be able to see what's around me. I'll just be stuck in that sort of,
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah. In
You know,
self-inquiry, that's why I close my eyes. It's so that I'm not distracted by anything outside. I'm just
hmm,
watching that story play in my mind, and then it's not the doing of something of the story. It's just the connection between the story in the mind and the sensations in the body. And
yeah,
then making that connection, it allows this story to play out fully. It slows everything down to start with by connecting into the body, and allows that story to play out in the mind in some way, right? So say you're worried about an interview, then maybe you're looking up into the mind and you're looking, it happens on both levels. We also push down into the body to get away from the thoughts in the mind, and we push up into the mind to get away from the thoughts in the body. So there's this, like, worry is this eventuation, right? That if I go and do a interview, that they're going to see me in some particular way, and so you
it's a
allow that
what
story.
if, like you're trying to have an expectation of what's going to happen. So you're
Yeah,
trying to sort of perceive the future, and you're looking at these possible outcomes, and you go, "Oh, this is the worst one. This is what I don't want to happen."
yeah, yeah, yeah. But if you let that story be there, like if you let the image play out into the mind, and you get to that point of experiencing yourself as the worst that you can imagine, as the thing that you
Mm,
fear the most, and you feel it
mm.
fully, then what naturally happens to it is it either it finishes, it ends, right? It plays through in your mind like a movie. You're feeling it, you're feeling it, you're
Yeah,
feeling it,
yeah.
then it ends. It has to naturally either fall away or become something else.
Mm.
It's just the way it works, right? But the trying to
Yeah, yeah.
hold.
It's like when you're worried about things and you stress, like the calm before the storm sort of thing. I always hate the calm before the storm. I like the storm. I'm fine when that shit's going on. But it's like before the storm, while I'm waiting for that, that's when all that worry is. So it's like um, that's
Yeah,
when I can't see where I'm going,
yeah,
and then it's like, okay, now I've got something to do while the shit's happening, and
yeah,
then I let it play out, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't need to be that worried,
yeah, yeah.
you
Okay,
know.
so hey, that's interesting though. What happens in those moments? Like, what happens at that calm part before the storm? And I'm not asking you.
I analyze,
Yeah,
and that's where the expectations and assumptions, and
yeah,
so it's basically a survival instinct in a way, I reckon, trying to prepare myself for an eventual stressor.
Can I ask you something though? Like, I appreciate your words. You seem very wise in this moment, but does that
Oh, I think you.
does but does this knowledge affect that calm? honestly?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Like, does having this knowledge affect those feelings of anxiety in that calm before the storm?
Only in a sense of,
Yeah.
like, I guess a before and after, and like a precursor. So like, oh shit, I've fucked up before. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's
I
okay.
fucked up before, sort of
Yeah.
thing, or this hasn't happened for me before, or something like. If there's been something in the past
Yeah.
that I can connect it to, that's when it's really bad, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, now I don't have the confidence,
Yeah. Yeah, but wait,
you
you
know,
missed
and
you missed the point though. I mean, you've highlighted something very interesting, but
that's
my
where,
question,
that's where it's affected me the most. I think
okay,
it's the
but
connecting of the dots from
but
one bad
still,
thing to the next.
but still though, right? In this moment, you haven't answered the question because you've got this knowledge of of um of why these things are happening,
Yeah,
but
but
it
that, to
doesn't
me,
stop.
that's not knowledge. To me, that's trying to like,
Mm,
is, the 6 P's: proper preparedness prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah, yeah, but again, to me, and I'm just saying though, right, that you can have all of these thoughts in your
Yeah,
mind about how to
yeah,
get over this feeling, but
yeah,
I'm saying, I'm asking you, and I'm saying in my own experience that the intellectual mind can't think itself out of suffering. You know,
true.
I can have as much information or ideas about tools and this, that, and the other, but
Yeah,
it's all designed for one thing: to get away, to not feel the
mm,
feelings, right? That's the reason
yeah.
actually it never works.
Well,
And it's not
it,
present moment either, right? It's not present moment
mm,
either. So hey,
what
do
you're
you want to
talking
do a
about
quick
too is
inquiry?
also bravery. Like, that's where bravery comes from. You can't be brave without having that sort of, oh
Oh,
shit.
yeah, fear. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get that. So hey, would you do a quick inquiry with me? It doesn't have to be long, 10 minutes or something.
I can look,
Five
I can
minutes?
barely hear you.
5 minutes?
Oh, I'm talking to Luke.
Oh, what time is it there? Oh, okay. Maybe it's a bit late. Okay. Hey, it's okay. I've appreciated this conversation. Um,
Yeah, no, I was watching on the telly, and I thought
yeah,
I'd just like sort of try and get on, so the
yeah,
link worked and
yeah.
all that.
That
Hi,
was the main
Christo.
thing. That was the main thing.
Um,
Is Chris here?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Okay. But anyway, hey, I know it's getting late for you, dude. I appreciate
I
you
think
checking
Jason
that for
might be
me.
here too, because he tried calling me,
Okay.
but then I've turned off the TV, so I don't know how many viewers you got.
This is saying two. So this is one for the YouTube and one for the Twitch, and none for the Facebook, which is a bit surprising. But hey, it's okay. It's okay. But hey, I tell you, it's an invitation. Okay. If ever you feel this, if ever you know that you're in that feeling, and you want to take a look at it with me together,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
then,
definitely.
then
It's
let me
something
know.
that I guess it always it's always a struggle, because I never fully face it, or to the fact that I never fully understand it,
Yeah.
because my mind will jump from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the time to sit there,
Well,
in a sense.
the intent is to get away.
Yeah, it's for that. Well, survival. That's what it
Yeah.
is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
The
like,
the,
hey, I want to go back to my warm cave. I don't want to go out into the wilderness where
the
shit
womb.
kills me.
Yeah. 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 I mean, the self inquiry though is about turning towards it, and it's gentle, and
Mm,
it brings the understanding comes from outside of this logical thinking mind. It comes as insight. It comes as insight of
yeah.
like, and you really need to experience that. I know you've experienced that. We all had insights, but it's interesting to
Mm,
experience the insight in this particular way. And what
Yeah, I
happens?
think
What
I
happens is
think
this. Sorry,
but
but what happens
that's
is this
what I
trust.
mean too. Even though you connect the dots on the bad side of shit,
Yeah,
on the flip side, you connect the dots on the other side of that too, and that's sort of like that flow state where
yeah,
shit makes sense,
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I'm
and that
talking
is
about.
also through thought and feeling, isn't it? So it's how we interact with our world
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
ourselves.
And
We
generally,
just
if we're
sort of get,
suffering,
yeah,
well, there's some part that's not we're not interacting with. And hey, someone just jumped on from the Facebook, but um, just to the person, whoever is watching, that you can come and join if you like. In the chat is the link. You can click on that, or I can send it to you if you like. If you got some suffering, Matt and I we're just finishing up. He's about to go to bed.
yeah. I'm off to bed.
He's probably they know you as well, but he helped me check the link and make sure everything was okay. So there's like 25 minutes. So if whoever, I know that you've got to go to bed soon, Matt, but I might just do a quick self inquiry myself. And
I was in bed on the YouTube, so
yeah, that's cool, dude. I get it. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thanks
that's all right.
for
All
helping and
good.
supporting me. And I hope you enjoyed that
I'll
first
probably,
session. It was interesting.
yeah, no, it was good. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that it sort of made me think like, oh yeah, I can relate to a lot of that,
Yeah,
especially with family and especially with, things and then a lot of stuff sort of,
yeah,
it's life,
yeah,
and look, as ancient shinobi proverb,
yeah.
pain
It always comes back to
about,
ninjas with you.
well, about pain, it's sort of like, it's a necessary thing.
Yeah, it's part of life for sure. And
But you got to be able to overcome it, and
yeah,
that's the really tricky part. And I think that what you're doing is helping people, giving people the tools to overcome that. And
yeah,
the pain it'll still be there because it's fucking part of it,
yeah,
part of being in this physical existence, and you can't have perfect without the imperfect.
yeah. It's true.
You know.
It's true. I think there's a difference between suffering, like emotional suffering, and
Mm.
psychological suffering and pain.
Yeah, I agree.
Even
I
emotional
agree, and
pain.
I don't mean it like, I don't mean it to throw it all in the same bucket either. Like,
Yeah,
because it's different.
yeah. I
And
think
it's
you're
also
right.
the times. Like, in today's times, it's a lot different than it used to be. Like, we've got a lot of outside stimuli. We've got all this stuff happening.
Yeah,
And something to think about too. The
yeah,
food, our gut health. There's so much.
yeah. It's true. But we're just dealing with
And
one
that
small part here of
yeah, but
self-inquiry.
that's where your thing is, the self-inquiry. It's like, okay, all rivers lead to the ocean.
Yeah,
Right? So even though you might be talking about a small part, but it leads to the bigger picture.
yeah. It's true. It's all connected.
So, yeah,
It's all
and
connected.
it is. It's the Matrix.
It's ninjas in the Matrix. All right. Hey, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna let you go. Go
I'm
to
gonna
bed.
download a sleep file,
Yeah,
and then
yeah. And if it does come and
Trinity.
you want to jump on and it's the right time, then let me know. I'm looking for guests for next week. All right.
All
Or
right,
this time next week, maybe,
definitely.
or Wednesday. All right.
All right,
Thanks, buddy.
I'm gonna sign out.
Yeah. Thanks, bro.
Love you.
Love you too.
I don't know what time it is in Helsinki. It's probably
It's
like,
1:45.
oh, sweet.
1:45. So not too bad.
So
Shit, I've got
you still got almost a full
no,
day.
man. I've got another 3 sessions I need to do, but not on the stream. So
Well,
gotta get it.
if you're gonna be on YouTube, I can watch for a little bit if you're gonna do something. But I'm just
No,
gonna be laying in bed.
they're private ones. They're private ones.
Cool,
So
cool.
So I've got a group session to do now, 2:00, and then I've got a session with a lady in Canada at 4, and then I've got this. I'm doing this shared sessions with these 2 ladies. I'm teaching them how to do self-inquiry together. So that's at 7
Yeah, right.
tonight. But hey,
Yeah, no, all right, cool. Well, let's
take it
yeah,
easy.
all right. Well, I hope it all goes well, bro. And
Yeah, I appreciate you helping me check this out and make sure that link is okay. And yeah, it seems like there's a few more people that have just jumped on. But hey, you can just check in that. Maybe what I can do is just copy that link. Paste. Okay. Okay, so Maddie, I'm going to say goodnight, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days. Okay, bro.
all righty. Peace out.
See you. Okay. Well, wow, it's been an interesting first streaming session. We talked about shame. Probably I'll upload this first session that we did with Alison, and we talked about shame, and went quite deep. And then helpful for Maddie to come and join me and and just test this link and give me a bit of support and love. I've got about 20 minutes. It's enough to maybe start a quick session. It just depends. If you're in the heart of suffering, then it moves through quite quickly. Just put that up on there's the link if you want to join. If you want to just join and say a quick g'day, I assume that we know each other. I don't have many strangers, I'm sure, here, but also in that Facebook group, I put the link in the bottom there. So yeah, I'll just wait to see if anyone decides to join. I feel really good, actually. I don't have anything. I've got another session to do too, which is interesting. Hopefully the other people, they'll have something. I'm sure they'll have some problems to look at. But I feel really good after doing that session. Still, it doesn't matter if you've maybe you've got something yourself, you've got some suffering happening for today or tomorrow or something. I'm not going to be doing the Australian stream until Wednesday. So if you do have suffering, now's the time. Now's the time to join. Just click the link. I've got about 17 minutes now before I have to get on to this other call. Otherwise, you can join me on Wednesday. I don't have a guest on Wednesday. I've got a guest on Tuesday and Thursday in the Finnish times, but not for the Wednesday. So if you've got something that you like to look at and you want to be the guest on Wednesday, then that's awesome. Send me a message, and I'll send you the link, and we can have a little chat. Yeah, and the idea of that first hour is just to show everyone how the sessions go, and then the idea of the second hour is for people to call in and do a session with me. But if you don't call in, we can't do a session. So I'm happy if you want to help me check the link again. No, there's still no one there. Yeah. Okay, well, hey, if no one is coming, then I am going to go and make a cup of tea and get ready for the next session. So even though I'm talking to myself, thank you. Thanks for joining me. Hope you got something from this. I hope it entertained in some way. And again, feel free to give me a call if you want to look at something sometime. Wednesday, it's Monday and Wednesday, 8 till 10 for the Australians, for the East Coast Australians, and Tuesday and Thursday for the Finnish and Europeans. It's Helsinki time, Tuesday and Thursday. Take it easy. Thank you. Bye for now.